do not reflect those of the Evening Rush Network. Viewers' discretion is advised.
Are still with us here, Plug with Molly and Joe, the Mental Warriors. Once again, another Thursday, 9 o'clock sharp. Well, we wasn't sharp last week, so we apologize to our viewers. We apologize to the people that listen and all that other good stuff. If you don't, guess what? You can catch the video of all our shows. We got about 40 something or 30 something. We said
about 36. This is number 37 right here.
Yeah, this is number 37, And what we're going to do today is we're going to switch it up. So bear with us. We're going to do a little switcheroo. We're going to have a little different things going on. So the format of the show is just a little bit different than what our normal format is. But I think you guys are going to enjoy this little bit of a change. All right. So what's coming on tonight's show? Basically, of course, the topic of the day, mental health in the Black community. We spoke about this before, but we have to keep bringing this up because it's very important that we understand that we need help as a people, as a nation, as a whole, right? So we want to bring up mental health in the Black community. And then also, of course, we're going to pay homage, okay? We're going to pay homage. Matter of fact, this week, what we're going to do is we're giving flowers, right? We're giving flowers to those that, those that's making our ancestors proud. So that's our those who's making our ancestors proud segment. We're going to do that, and then of course we're going to throw in there, and that's at the end today. At the end today, we're going to throw in our current events. So we got our meme segment that's going to come after the break. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off today with our topic of the day, not right this minute, right, Joe? So what we're going to do? Where we at? What platforms are we on right now, Joe?
Oh gosh, we are on so many new platforms. I guess like we always talk about, there's ways to get in contact with us. There's ways to hear our message and hear what we're talking about. Mm-hmm. We are on Amazon Music, Pandora, Stitcher, Podchaser, TuneIn, Reasons Podcast, Google's Podcast, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Anchor.fm, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Mixcloud, iTunes Podcast, the eveningrushnetwork.com, and of course on the Evening Rush Network app, which is available on both iOS and Android.
How was your week? How was your week, my brother? How was your week?
It was a good week. A lot of good things happening, a lot of positive changes, a lot of new things that are happening. They say new year, new me, but I like to say still here after last year. So I'm continuing the trend of what happened last year. It ain't nothing but to get something into. So I'm continuing what my trend was for last year.
Yeah. Well, my week was kind of, I don't know, touch and go. There's a meme out there. They're talking about the people that haven't caught COVID yet and whatnot in 2022. And I'm like the Walking Dead and whatnot. I'm fending people off. So it's been touch and go because it's been a lot of sickness around me and stuff like that. But thank God it's nothing serious. It just seemed more like the common cold than anything else, or maybe a little flu or something like that. I guess that's a good thing. Not for everything that they put everybody through as far as the mandate of vaccinations and people's whole integrity just question now. You got people really mentally questioning their own morals. You understand what I'm saying? You got people looking in the mirror every morning because they took that jab. Now, not to say that the jab itself is going to actually do anything negative to them. It's just that the decision to do so was taken away from them. You understand what I'm saying? And that has to play with their mental. You know what I mean? That has to play with their mental. That has to play with every fabric of who you are, to have someone basically tell you you have to violate yourself because they said so.
Well, it goes to society having such a grasp on everyday work ethic, everyday values of life. Mm-hmm. If people realize this is what they have to do to live, and you have the upper hand, the society, telling you that you have to do this in order to work. You have to do this in order to live. If you're making that money, yes, you do have to do this to live. But if you're not, then you don't. It's up to you. But are you willing to sacrifice and put everything you have into this? Are you willing to do that? And a lot of people aren't, because of their situations, because of how they live, because of their everyday life. So it's like a bitter pill you have to swallow.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. So not to get too drawn onto that, because we got so much to talk about. It says when the land of the free isn't so free. Yeah. Tell me about it. I mean, like that's it sounds cliche, but it really isn't, and they gave us the concept of freedom just so that we can be, try to reach to attain it, but our very next segment, basically, because we're going to change the format, but when our next segment is one of our favorite segments, and we're going to always open up with this. And the reason why we're going to always open with this is because we always either want to pay homage, or we want to give the flowers to those that deserve it. You understand? Before we open up any other topics. Of course, in the intro, we get caught up in our minds, because like I said, the last week was COVID everywhere. But right now, what we're going to do is we're going to say who's making our ancestors proud. Joe, who's making our ancestors proud for you this week?
This one I think we've talked about, but I can't remember. But it's always good to bring him back. Quincy Delight Jones Jr. I love a middle name like Delight. I wish I had that as a middle name. I like that one to the character.
Yeah. Especially the name Quincy. Quincy is a cool name for me.
Oh, man. Yeah. King of cool, in my honest opinion. An American record producer, musician, songwriter, composer, arranger, and film and television producer. He has been in the entertainment industry over 70 years and has recorded Grammy nominations of 80, 28 Grammys, and a Grammy Legend Award in 1992. He started in the 1950s working with people like Ray Charles, working with Lionel Hampton, Ella Fitzgerald, Clifford Brown. These are people, famous jazz musicians of his day. He started with his own big band, and then became into doing a lot of film scores for original movies. He wrote the theme song for Sanford and Son. A lot of people don't know about that. And then later on in life, had a second chance in life with Michael Jackson, and helped produce Off the Wall, Thriller, and Bad. And we know how that went. And Quincy Jones is such an icon for the music industry. People tend to thrive to be like him, but he's done so much more than that. And we have to give him his roses. He's 86 years old. So continuing the legacy that was there, Quincy's still doing it. And I'm pretty sure if somebody had an idea musically of what they would want to do, they would go to him and just see what he would, what his opinion was or what his idea was. So we're giving you your flowers now, Quincy, as we see a lot of our elders, passing and moving forward. So Quincy, continue to do what you do, or continue to influence those to be like you.
Shout out to Quincy Jones. I've been studying, watching documentaries and stuff like that. I watch documentaries just as fast as I might watch the latest Avengers or something like that, or what have you. True nerd in a sense, but still have my edginess, I guess. And I've been watching Quincy Jones. I've learned so much about him, in now that I haven't known. I knew he was always great producer and all this other stuff, and I knew he was tied into so many names and so many people, but I just did not know to the extent in which his reach, had landed, and all of the things that he's responsible for that help, shape the soundtrack of my life, so to say. You know what I mean? Sure. So yeah, most definitely Quincy Jones is someone that, I have to give a major salute to, because he is the epitome of cool. You understand what I'm saying? Anytime you see an interview about him, he just seemed like it was nothing ever wrong with that man, Right. Yeah, and so I'm gonna go into who I'm giving flowers to, and that's a personal fan favorite of our producer extraordinaire, Miss Jada John, and this is just homage to to her as well because she absolutely adores this cat. And that is the world famous Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, also known Willard Smith. Willard Carroll Smith. I didn't know his name was that. Willard Carroll Smith II. Also known by the stage name Fresh Prince, is an American actor, rapper, and film producer. Primarily known for comedic and dramatic acting roles, Smith is the recipient of numerous accolades, including 4 Grammy Awards as a rapper, 1 Golden Globe Award, and 2 Academy Award nominations. As of 2016, his films have grossed $7.5 billion at the global box office, and Smith holds several U.S. and international box office records. Okay, one of his first achievements is being part of the hip hop duo Fresh Prince and that Jazzy Jeff, right?
Yes.
Parents Just Don't Understand, one of my favorite songs that ever came out in history, just because parents didn't understand, and he spoke to that. You know what I mean? He wasn't your. I remember Nightmare on My Street, Summertime, Ring My like. So when it came to get jiggy with it, you know. He wasn't your typical rapper. He wasn't your favorite rapper. You're talking about, oh, you know, he gritty, this and the third. But he was one of the best that ever did it. You know what I mean? One of the best businessmen, one of the best business minds, and one of the best movie stars. You know, one of the men to look up to. And what I bring him up for now is that in his latter years, he's taken all that he's learned throughout all of those years, and now he's teaching and giving back, you know what I mean, to the people. And he's giving back to the people. You know what I'm saying? He's learning, and he's been, you know, trying to help others along their journey in life and whatnot. And I love those kind of transitions. I've seen it in like a Jay-Z. I see it in Will Smith. I see it in like a Denzel Washington, where they get into their latter years and now they're focused on the give back. You know what I mean? Not worried about, you know, the media, and not worried about everybody and what they're talking about and the such. You know what I mean?
That's the circle of life. You know, you go through things in order to give them back, you know, and just it's at that point, you know, they call it midlife crisis for men. It's not really such. It's just that you've seen what you've done with your life and you try to instill that upon others. So one of the I admire Will Smith. He's very underrated as an actor, in my personal opinion. One of my favorite movies with him is The Legend of Bagger Vance. He was playing a supporting actor role. A lot of people don't understand that. And also, Ali, when he played Muhammad Ali, he should have won an Oscar for that role because he was so good. So good. It was unbelievable.
Right. Yeah. I mean, listen, when you talk about the range from in which he, like you say, he started off on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air with no acting, you know, and mind you, that's an iconic show. If you don't know about the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, you can go and binge watch it for seasons after seasons. But that was one of the most iconic shows, by chance, Quincy Jones is the producer of that show.
There you go.
You know what I mean? So, you know, we didn't plan it. We ain't planning it this way, guys. You know, that just happened to happen that way. He said Quincy Jones, I went with Will Smith, and that's how the universe works sometimes. It's just like it just works out that way. But Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was I could put it in the annals of a Cosby Show. I could put it in the annals of what's the other one? The college one, Different World. I could put it, you know, I could put it, you know, in what it meant to Black culture. You know what I mean? I could put it up there because it can't. Boy, they had some topics.
Oh,
you know what I mean? They had some time. Yeah, Pursuit of Happiness was actually a good movie. I saw. What's the other one where the daughter, where the child died or something like that? That wasn't Pursuit of Happiness, right? That was
that Pursuit of Happiness was the one with when he's playing the black man that 7 pounds. That's the movie you're talking about.
Is it 7 pounds?
7 pounds.
Where the child died and where he go through the ghost and all that other stuff and whatnot, and he see different people. Man, I gotta get that.
I thought it was 7 pounds. I'm almost positive that's the one where he was doing the things for the 7 different people. No,
That's not 7 pounds. Nah, that's because remember it was 3 people. It was 3 people. But nonetheless, man, Will Smith, man, shout out to you, man. We're not gonna
Yes.
carry on with that. What we're gonna do is we're gonna do the switcheroo that we said we're gonna do, and we're gonna speak to the topic of the day.
Yes.
All for real. Yeah. Topic of the day. Mental health in the Black community. Yes, bad boys. My one of our listeners said bad boys. Come on. That was a cult classic, as they say, right?
That's
A
right.
black cult classic. How about that? A black cult classic.
There you
But
go.
topic of the day: mental health in the Black community. All right. This is a topic that's very near and dear because I'm seeing it more and more that it is a problem. It is a problem that we're not addressing. It's a problem that affects us negatively in such a big way because we already have so many things against us to not address one of the things that's eating us from inside out. You understand what I'm saying? Because that's from within. You know what I mean? That's just not giving us a chance in all hell to do anything in this society of any merit, right? So we have to keep speaking to it, right? So mental health in the Black community. It is said that it's taboo to talk about mental issues within the Black community. Like it's almost like we don't talk about it. I've grown up and I know we didn't talk about it. We used to be like, that dude crazy, this, that, and the third. He's 730, laugh it off, laugh it away. We used to joke about it a lot. You know what I mean? But I see that it's not really a joke anymore, right? Joe, in knowing that is so taboo in our community, because I know you agree to that, right? At the very least, right?
Absolutely. I mean, even to this day, like I know when like you said, us growing up, it was something that we didn't talk about. Like we weren't allowed to express our feelings in that way. Or if we did, oh, he just had a moment, he'll be all right. You know what I mean? Something simple as that. But
it was brushed away a lot.
It was brushed, but it was more than that. And that's something that as we're getting older, we're seeing the effects either within us or we're seeing the effects around us with other people.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of things I mean, just I see our elders that have dementia, Alzheimer's, things like that. Those illnesses were brushed away, but they would just seem to having problems. But a result of all that stuff is because they didn't take care of it. It was an underlying issue, and it was something that all they had to do was deem the appropriate help or resource, and it could have helped them think better or have a better lifestyle.
Yeah. So why is it taboo? Why don't we talk about mental health in our community?
It's taboo because we are deemed as strong people. The struggle narrative is real within the Black community. And for us to have a struggle story without highlighting the real issues, that defeats the purpose of a struggle.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
If you understand, mental health would be deemed as a struggle, and it's a struggle that we can't control.
Right.
In some ways, I think we can control it because it's also part of our systemic oppression. These mental health issues come from PTSD, ADHD, and come from even our ancestors and what they dealt with.
So you're speaking to what it leads to, right? It leads to PTSD, all those things. I'm asking the question: why don't we talk about it? Is it a fear of being ridiculed? Is it fear of being looked less than? Like, what is the reason we don't talk about it? Because not to do something about it, because we'll get to that, right? We'll get to why don't we do something about it, right? So why don't we just at least address it to one another?
Well, just for the reasons that you mentioned, fear of being ridiculed. Growing up in our community, we're deemed as strong mass beings. And us to talk about our feelings is irrelevant in a lot of cases. So if we were to sit there and say we need some help, we'll be teased about it. We'll be ridiculed about it. We'll be felt really bad about certain things.
Or man up.
Right,
I like to hear that.
Real men don't talk about their feelings. I know we've heard that on many occasions. And also it makes you feel weak. It makes you feel sensitive. And not saying sensitivity is a bad thing, because it's good to have a pure heart in some instances. But when you're appearing weak, it appears that you're too sensitive about things, and that opens up a lot of other doors as well. So men like us aren't allowed to express our sensitive side or show a case of a hint of sensitivity.
Growing up, it was taboo to speak. Actually, growing up, it wasn't even a topic. Mental issues. We didn't deal in depression. We didn't deal in PTSD. We didn't deal in schizophrenia. We didn't deal in none of those different things that we can address. Anxiety. You understand what I'm saying? What else is there? So many different labels. Even autism. Maybe
Right.
because right now we're sitting there saying that, oh, we see all of these autistic kids now, but what about the fact that we weren't even paying attention to them then? You understand what I'm saying? What makes them not have been autistic then, when we were sitting there talking about the kids on the yellow bus, when we were sitting there talking about the kids in special ed
Right.
class, and when
That's
we
right.
would sit there and we'd be making mock noises of people that might be what they call quote unquote retarded. You understand
Right.
what I'm saying? We were a community that made fun of mental issues, and not knowing that we was dying from them ourselves. You know what I mean? We was building upon our mental issues because we never addressed them. Right.
And
So
that's what I was going to bring that point up, for those who had ever been labeled as the word retarded. They say that that's too sensitive to say now, but they say mentally challenged. But even something as that, it could have been that it was an issue that they were dealing with that they didn't get the proper resource for, or they didn't get the
right,
proper help for, and it's that simple.
right.
But
So
we wouldn't have known that because we didn't take any heed to it. We didn't look at it as an important thing in our lives.
right.
So if we could say,
Well, but society said so, because society only allowed the help for such things to be for a particular race of people, correct? The white people had all the help in the world, and even when they didn't want help, they was given help because it was already addressed that they're having a problem, they're having a meltdown, they're having anxiety issues, they're having a drug issue. Because even when you talk about the opioid situation and such like that, these are things that we were dealing with in the 80s and the 90s. Drug problems. Come on, we know those. But as soon as it became their problem, they got that necessary help to get them out of that problem. You
that's right.
understand what I'm saying? So it's never addressed. So why would we even, look at it as a problem? Correct. So I got a question for you, Joe, real quick. What is it about being a man that makes men shy away from dealing with mental issues?
It shows that we need help. We're not supposed to. We're not
We're not.
supposed. It
We
shows
don't
that
want.
we
We
need
not.
help.
We
We're
don't
not
want
supposed to
help.
be able to deal with certain things. That's why men shy away from it. Where it takes away our strength, whether our inner strength or our outer strength, and admitting that we need help is, and in most people's way and not words, is not manly. It's
Right,
not
and
a
that
manly
goes to
element.
man up. So my thing is, reason why I've shied away from dealing with mental health issues, is because it wasn't something that was actually respected growing up, right? And then me personally, I'm looking at it as, what are you going to do for me? I don't have trust. I guess maybe trust, right? Trust. I could call it trust issues. What are you really going to do for me? Why would I tell you my story? You understand what I'm saying? Why would I tell you my life, my story? I mean, I don't trust. I don't trust you, and I guess that society made me be that way, so that now we don't even try to get the help that we actually do need, because we do suffer from depression, we do suffer from anxiety, we do suffer from PTSDs, we do suffer from a lot of different things that we can pinpoint and show you as a mass nation that we suffer from these things. You know what I mean? As a nation of people, we suffer from PTSD, from slavery, from before slavery, from when we came across on them boats and whatnot. There's things that we're still suffering from. You know what I mean? So, um, the question is, where does this idea that it is a weakness come from? Right? Because we got some of our people here. We got some of our people here, and a brother Terrence said you can't be in denial. You know what I mean? One of the brothers one of the brothers said, this is why we don't go to counseling, because we don't want to hear we are weak. You understand what I'm saying? Because again, brother Sean Don, the reason why we don't want to hear that we are weak is because we were raised to be extra strong. And we'll speak to that because the global image of the black male and our need to live up to that image is the image of the mandingo.
Right.
You know what I mean? The extra strong gorilla back, silverback gorilla. You know what I mean? We chew iron and shit out steel. You understand what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Yeah. You know what I mean? And we don't want that imagery because one of the things is, I believe, is, Joe, you could back me up on this, is that that's one of the imageries that they can't take away from us. That's one of our strongest imageries. So, and they take so much away from us. So why would we want to take that away? Why would we want to even look weak? You know what I mean?
Well, here's the thing in regards to those images. Those images have negative connotations, you know. The silverback, the mandingo, they're never looked at in a positive light when other people are expressing it. We understand the importance of the power of those images, but when those images are given to us in other lights, they're never from a positive standpoint. When you refer to us as gorillas or silverbacks, it's a racist statement. You know, it's racial overtones to it. As same thing for a mandingo. There's never a real positive connotation around that. So, like for us, it's a strength because we built on that strength. We identify as such because that's how we learn to live life. We learn to look at everything that may deem us as weak and get through it, some way, shape, or form. Go through the wind, the sleet, the snow, the rain, like get through hell in order to be on top. And through that, not identifying things that might put us in a place where we need to take a break. We need to have a breakdown. We need to have a moment. And that all deemed around mental health. Mm-hmm. But regardless of those moments, we're going to fight through it any way we need to without acknowledging.
Right. Because in my eyes, the black man is the human version of a punching bag.
Right.
Between society, the family, the kids, every aspect of life for me, it just feels like we are just a human punching bag. Whereas we're supposed to take every and anything that every and anybody dishes out and spit it right back. Let's spit it right back at them with no, yeah. Look. Yeah, but you know, the brother said, look how long took for us to be seen as a superhero. And the funny part is, we've been seen as a superhero, my brother. We've been seen as a superhero. That's why Malcolm X was killed. That's why Martin Luther King was killed. You understand what I'm saying? Those were superheroes. Right. See, the thing is, for us to be depicted on screen as superheroes, they didn't want to do that because they already knew that we was already a fire that they had to keep down already. So why would we sit there and keep giving them more fire to be a greater people? Nah, we fought through and still showed our greatness. You understand what I'm saying? We fought through slavery. We came over on them slave boats. You know what I mean? Shackled to one another, listening to our women screaming, being raped in the next room. You understand what I'm saying? We real life superheroes already. They know that. They see us as superheroes. That's the reason why they shoot first and ask questions later. Because they believe that black man is going to disarm him with some supernatural power that he has to just get to, you know what? I'm scared. What they say, Joe? I'm scared.
I'm scared. That strength that we have, we can overpower them. We're overpowering. Just because we're big, we can overpower them, you know? I'm laughing, but it's very
so we got to get it out of our head that we're not. You understand what I'm saying? There's a lot. Listen, this is different. It's so deep, man. It's so deep. So they've always known supremacy is rooted in awareness of inferiority, and that is the case because even in our studies in 1619, which we'll get to that in February. Oh my God. Listen, I hope everybody get on with that one. 1619 gonna be it's gonna be a goodie. But yes, so white supremacy is rooted in the awareness of inferiority. The reason why they became so aware about keeping us down is because what they thought about is what they did to their nations when they left Britain. You understand what I'm saying? So when they left and just basically did their own thing, why would they sit there and build a society that allows for their inferior people to be greater than them? And then when they still seen us become greater than them, then what? You know what I mean? Close us out before we go to break, Joe.
Wow. Well, I think it's a little bit of that, but then we also talk about senseless violence as well on our end. We have we put up with our senseless violence versus their senseless violence. A lot of it is systematic towards what the violence that was admitted to us.
So before you go there, right? Before
Right.
you go there, because that's a good bullet point. I think we want to spend some time on that one, right? We're gonna get a break from our network, the Evening Rush Network. So we'll be back with part 2 of mental health in the Black community.
Looking to podcast shows and do not know where to start? The Evening Rush Network can help you with that. Call us at 929-441-2417 or email us at theeveningrushnetwork@gmail.com for dates and prices. We got you for all your podcast needs. The Evening Rush Network. Tune in, subscribe, and share.
And we are back. This is Plug with Molly and Joel, the Mental Warriors. We are here. Sorry we don't have our brother Zach on this week. Zach is dealing with it. He's recovering from that bastard COVID and whatnot and whatnot. Yeah, liquor shot to COVID. Oh man, whew, that was a little emotional. Little, the mental health in the Black community. That's the topic of the day. We're going to get to part 2, but first, what we're going to do is we're going to do our segment. You know what I mean? Just to give a little, lighthearted break to the situation and whatnot. Give me my, you know what I mean moment. You know what I mean? You. All right, so basically, you know what I mean is our segment, and the people that's watching, people that's seeing live on Facebook and anywhere, and then the other platform that you can see us on. You see, it says, "Don't erase our history," and a white guy with a MAGA hat is hugging on one of them old slave owner statues and whatnot, talking about don't erase our history. And then on the flip side, when it comes to critical race theory on the blackboard, that's meaning the schools and the stuff like that, they like erase our history. They don't want that part of the history, but they want to keep these statues up that reminds everyone that we come from a slave, a slaveocracy, as 1619 points out, right?
Right.
Yeah. So that's what I mean for the week, man. I hope you guys enjoy that little segment. I like it. It's a little fun, a little fun to lighten things up sometimes, because these topics are very serious, because it touches a spot in, it touches a place within a Black man, because we're speaking about ourselves, forgot about our sponsors, of course, sponsored by none other than Baller. All right, Big Apple Leadership Academy for the yes. Baller has a lot of things coming on. Maybe next week what we'll do is we'll have a segment where we'll let everybody know what's going on in Baller, because we got a few workshops coming up for the kids, and a few more announcements on. Yeah, we want to run it down. Yeah, producer, we running it down. We running down what's going on with Baller next week. All right, let's make a note of that. But we back to part 2. All right, part 2 of our topic for the week: mental health in the Black community. Joe, you were speaking to a particular thing, right? We already spoke about Black males, human punching bags, the suppression, used as a tool, because no one would listen. So we suppress our feelings, we suppress our emotions, and it's been proven, because I think once we get loud about things, or once we actually say, I'm not feeling good mentally or whatever, this and the third, people look at you like, come on, what is that? Like, come on, toughen up, man up, right? That's that mentality.
It looks like it's looked at as it's deemed as a joke.
Right. But now let's talk about the violence. You know what I mean? When you're talking about the violence, when we're talking about our kids out here shooting one another in the head, and just, or the kid that's up in Burger King the other day who the young lady gave up the money and he still winds up shooting her. He still winds up killing her. You understand what I'm saying? Senseless violence, or the brother who pushed the person off the platform and whatnot, talking about he's something to God or something. Listen, we're looking at it 2 totally different ways, but though when it comes down to it, because when these type of senseless things happen on their end, it's looked upon as they need help, whereas we are animals, we are criminals, we are thugs, we are we are we are a victim of our circumstances, whatever it might be. We don't get the help necessary. So you were talking to that. Speak to that, Joe.
Well, I was talking about the measure of our violence versus their senseless violence. Do you remember last year the young man that went into the massage parlor in Georgia and killed up the Asians, about like 8 of them?
Mm-hmm.
And what happened was, when the police chief of that city came on, it was a young white man that committed the crime.
Right.
He said that the white man was just having a bad day. But if it was a black man that had did it, he needs to be persecuted to the fullest extent of the law.
Right.
And it goes to show you that their term of violence has, it doesn't measure up to what our sense of violence are. Or when we do it, it's almost like it's a daily norm for us. It doesn't look that it has to be checked because we live in that type of lifestyle or that chaos.
You become numb to it.
It becomes numb to it. So people who are outside of our community seeing that happening is going to say, oh, that's how they live. They live amongst all that stuff. But when it happens in their community, it's, oh man, this is really important. We got to do something about this. So it's like being in the jungle. We're looked at as animals. But they are the ones who need the help because it doesn't happen like that. When you have to
and we bring that point up to say just that. We say to the fact that we need help. You know what I mean? And that's coming from a black man. We need help. We need help in our community. We need real help to deal with our problems. You understand what I'm saying? Real therapy, real people to talk to, real people that's really trying to help us. You know what I mean? Help us clear up some of the cobwebs that's in our head and some of the things that we've gone through and some of the traumas we've gone through. Because some of the men, listen, they've been sexually abused, verbally abused, physically abused, all kind of things, and they will never bring that up because of fear of being weak. You know what I mean? So that's the key to why men probably don't do it, is for fear of being weak. And our strength is one of the key things that keep us in our whole mythological way of how the world sees us. You know what I mean? Because everybody thinks of, oh, they all could jump, they all this, they all that, they all could do this, they all could do that. So we want to keep that going. That's what I think. You know what I mean? So we spoke about men, right? We spoke about the men, and it's only right because in our black community, there's not just men in the black community, there's women in the black community, correct?
Absolutely.
Right. So I don't think we could really talk to that. Like myself, yourself, I don't think we really could speak for women per se, or even children per se. And I actually want to, we're going to try to have my niece on at some point to speak for the youth when it comes down to the mental health and what they think about it. Because I've actually had conversations with her, and I believe that they are the key. You understand what I'm saying? I believe our children got it. I believe our children are going to tackle mental health issues way better than we ever thought of doing it. You know what I mean? And but right now, without further ado, for our women's side of things, we're gonna have on none other than our producer, who's usually in the background, but today she's gonna be in the foreground, and that was an actual gift from my man Zachariah if he's paying attention. But we're gonna have Miss Jada John on today to speak about the mental health. Hi, Jada John. How are you?
Gotcha.
Hi, guys.
Yeah. The running joke is our producer does not want to be on camera more time than not. But once you hear her speak, you see why we actually drug her on about this topic here, because I can't speak to women. Joe can't speak for women, but I'm pretty sure you can. So the question today is, why do you think women in our community shy away from addressing mental health issues, Jada?
The primary reason, in my personal opinion, is having a mental health issue, or even just an awareness that there may be a mental health issue makes women less desirable. The belief is it would be a whole lot harder to attract a partner if that partner or if that individual was aware that I was carrying all of this baggage, that I had all of these issues. It is bad enough that we have to suffer the judgment of being single moms and single parents, and all of the questions about how many fathers do your children have, and all the different things, stereotypes that come with being the angry Black woman, and all these other different things. Adding on top of that, the personal issues that we have to face from day to day. If we were to bring that to the forefront at the very beginning, the likelihood that we'll be able to actually find someone to want to, put in that labor with us as we work through those mental issues significantly decreases. So the easier thing to do is to suppress it and to pretend like it doesn't exist, because who wants to be alone forever, right? So to make myself or to make ourselves more desirable, we'll shy away from it.
Well, okay. So you're saying that you shy away from those things so that you could appear more desirable for men, right? For the men in your community as well. So you guys, so ours is we don't want to appear weak, and you guys shy away from showing your baggage or showing. Okay, all right, that's fair enough. But I believe, like me personally, I believe that women do hide their baggage to appear more attractive, but I personally believe that they should bring it out. You understand? Because I think that if you want to be taken seriously, I need to understand who you are from the giddy up. You understand what I'm saying? Because that whole thing where you giving me a facade, or you giving me a show, or you giving me this made up persona of who you are doesn't really show me who you really is. And that's for me. I mean, maybe that's just a me thing, because it probably is not for a lot of other guys. Maybe it's just a me thing. Like, I'm like, nah, I want to see you at your worst. That way, and because we could build all that other stuff up as I've peeped throughout our community, that women come with fake lashes, fake hair, fake boobs, fake hair. They come up with fake everything. I'd rather just see the nitty gritty.
My rebuttal to that, and Joe, you can correct me if I'm wrong when I say this, right? If I come to you and I'm coming to you and sharing with you in advance that these are the things that I'm carrying, these are the issues that I have, or things that I'm dealing with, and you don't know enough about me as an individual to determine that I am worth that headache, how do I get you to stick around?
Say that one more. That was a good question. Hold on. Say that one more time. Sorry.
I come to you, we meet, right? And in meeting, I begin to share with you the baggage that I'm carrying. I begin to share with you the issues that I'm dealing with. But we just met. You don't know me. You don't know much about me. How do you know, or how do I get you to understand that I am worth the headache if you haven't taken the time to understand me independently of the baggage that I'm carrying? How do you know that I'm worth it?
We don't.
You don't. And so
because wouldn't that be me as a man saying, you know what, and I'm being realistic and I'm being real when it comes down to it, that a woman comes to you and there was and I have a quote, what I say is a day before the day, meaning why would it be unrealistic that you do have baggage? Maybe it's just it's a hand in hand kind of situation where the man needs to understand that you didn't come here perfect. You understand what I'm saying? You didn't come to me perfect. So it's just a mutual understanding that we both have baggage in a sense.
Go ahead, Joe.
I don't think is that at any case. I think for the most part, a lot of men don't like added baggage on. So it's honestly a turnoff. If that's the first thing I hear from somebody, it's a turnoff. And I know a lot of men who feel the same way, regardless of no drama. You don't want to walk into that. I mean, you'll probably deal with it later on down the line. I can't speak to that. Like you said, nobody's perfect. Everybody has their own issues. And I totally agree. But
Joe, Joe said, Joe,
That's
yo,
not the first thing you want to hear when you're meeting somebody. Like if you're going to do that, you want to gradually grow it
all
on.
right, how about the level of baggage? How about I want a grocery bag, not a suitcase right now?
But you still have to be very careful with how you bring the grocery bag. You don't want, because not everybody can handle it all at one time.
Okay. Sean, and you know something, because he just said, I want the truth up front, right? So let's talk about our relationship, Sean, right?
Okay.
Let's talk about that. When you and I met, you didn't know nothing about me. You had one impression of me. You were like, she's scary. I don't know about that, Jada. You didn't know anything about me, right? Time goes on and we begin to interact. And I was but you understand me better now. I don't speak any differently now than I did then. But you understand me better. And because you understand me better, your lens has changed, right? Your vantage point is different. You don't look at me the same. You don't view me the same. You don't experience me the same because you've come to understand me. Exactly. And that's the point that I am making. When I walk in, the baggage that I carry that makes me a person that is just genuinely mean to everyone when I meet you, right, is a turnoff for most people. Most people just don't like me when they meet me. That's the thing that I need to work on for me as an individual.
But that's a personality thing.
To the front,
but that's a personality thing.
Right. But if I bring the issues that causes me to be this way to you when you first meet me, you have to make that decision. Do I want to do the labor of befriending an individual like this?
Right.
And you have to decide if you want to do that labor with me. Are you going to walk this road?
But hold on. But what you got to realize is, as a woman in this world right now, there's two people here that said they want the baggage up front. There's one that says kick rocks with that. And so what you're not understanding is you have to understand the man you're dealing with. There's those who actually feed me the understanding of who you really are. Because I look at it like this. If I can see from the pain you're coming from, I can then know how to help you. You understand what I'm saying?
But that's because Molly, the individual,
or Sean,
right?
or Sean,
the individual who has also spoken up, has a place in their heart to help people. That's what you do. That's who you are, right? That's why we're doing what we're doing right now. Everyone doesn't have that. You understand? And so while you might say that two people here has said, well, we want to hear that stuff up front, you got to know the man you're dealing with. If you just met that person, do
it help the mental of our women in our community to hide it? Does it help to mute that they actually have mental issues? I mean, I say exactly. So the reasoning that they're hiding it just to appear more attractive in the forefront, because look, okay, you hide it in the beginning, then all of a sudden, months later, they find out you batshit crazy. Then what? You know what I mean? Like, come on now,
But there's an upside to that, though. You're getting to learn the person that you're with. It's not to say that the man's going to totally reject you 100%. You just want to gradually grow into that prospect. Because it's not to say that all men are going to take somebody who has an issue. You're going to look at the person and say, okay, they're human just like we are. But you can't drive them with that immediately when you meet them. You got to let that grow onto them. And I'm speaking for me specifically. It'll get to a point where I say, okay, nobody's perfect. Oh, you have some things that we can work out. Let's figure out how to get this done.
But let's get back to the mental issues. Let's get back to addressing the fact that it says, why do you think women in our community shy away from addressing mental? You say it's because of not appearing desirable, the baggage and the such and so forth and the other, right? How do we repair this? If the women are so scared to address their mental issues for fear of not looking attractive to the men in our community, isn't it like a a dual thing where we both have to work towards this? Isn't it men and women have to work towards the same goal? We both have to be looking towards understanding that our women have baggage and our women have the same mental issues that we do.
No, this is Jada talking, right? So I can't say that I'm speaking for every woman on the planet, but I would say that women tend to, because we are nurturers naturally, we tend to gravitate to the idea of wanting to care for, right? When you come to me with these are my issues, these are my goals, these are my desires, this is what I want from life, right? We tend to slip into the position where we want to be that quote unquote help me. We want to be the Aaron. We want to be the person that's going to be the battery in your back to help you get there. They always say behind every great man is a great woman, right? The person who's carrying him as he's doing this work. Women naturally desire to be that person. So when you come to me and you say, well, these are my issues, these are the problems that I have, I'm not running away from those problems. I'm saying to you, this is how I'm going to help you get over that.
But now this is the thing where Molly comes in at, because I'm Molly speaking for Molly, since you were Jada speaking for Jada, and Sean speaking for Sean. We're saying that we're those men that no, we want to help you as much as you want to help us. Because that's the thing. When I say the 50-50, that's what I say, we got to help one another. So just as much as you guys are naturally nurturers, us as men have to learn to be nurturers of our families. No, Joe?
Absolutely. And it's not to say that even a Joe wouldn't do that either. Throughout time, I can't sit here and say I wouldn't do that because of my heart. It's just a matter of time that it takes to get there. Like, you don't bare your soul on the first time. You take time to get to this. You take the steps to get to where you got to be. And then once you learn the person, you get to say, okay, well, what can I do to help? What can I do to make it better? And I think that goes both ways. Like, women are the nurturers. Say that again.
He says we want to be protectors.
Absolutely. We're going to protect. It just takes a little warming up for us to protect. You know what I mean? Like, but that's not the first thing that we're doing. Women nurturing.
Go ahead, Joe.
Women nurturing us, that's a fact of life. That's innate. That's an innate thing that they do. So if we come with a problem, they're going to have a solution or try to help us.
So we could come with our baggage.
Right.
Knock on wood, right. And that's the point. Like the baggage you carry doesn't necessarily make you less attractive. If anything, it sort of sparks, right? It sort of gives a little spark.
And that just sparks because of the natural nurturers. But now, as us being protectors, understand where we're coming from when we say, okay, I need to know what I'm protecting you from. And I could have to protect you from yourself as well as a female. You understand? So the funny part about Joe's statement, everybody, who's listened to us or what have you, is that Joe says he don't like drama, but he's part of my family. Go figure. Go figure.
I couldn't escape it if I tried, huh? And I didn't even know it. I still don't see it. It ain't the drama that I thought it was going to be, but
Yeah. Yes. As we close out, man, there's a myth in our community. It's a big myth in our community. It's a big non-fact. It's what the kids say today. Tomatoes. That's what they do these days. That's what they're doing now. Tomatoes. Throw tomatoes. The idea. Oh yeah, it's something, Jada. You too old. The idea.
I don't know that either. I'm trying to figure out what that is.
Oh yeah, that's the kids is doing that now. They throwing tomatoes at negativity and stuff like that. Okay. Your future daughter-in-law does it now. I don't know. I learned it from her. Tomatoes. She did some stuff on her blog or something. You know how she got her little vlog going on.
Yeah,
she sounds so cool. Like it sounds so cool. I like her. But anyway, the idea that therapy is for white people. Blah, boo. Can we get a boo?
It's not.
We take a shot.
Let's
kill that notion, man. Let's kill that notion today, once and for all. 2022. That is it. Black people, therapy is not only for white people. Okay, we all need therapy.
Absolutely.
I have a certain kind of therapy that I enjoy, and that's cooking. You understand what I'm saying? When I cook, I'm in a safe place. I'm pretty sure other people got their vices as well. Joe, you have a vice for therapy?
Oh, you mean yeah? My vice, music. Music is
Okay.
my form of therapy.
Jada, you have a vice for therapy?
Work.
Just work. Yeah, that I mean, some people
It keep
bury
busy.
themselves.
Right.
Some people bury themselves in work. The idea that therapy is for white people is false. You know, it's. Sean says podcasting is his therapy. It's that safe place in your head. You know what I mean? It's that place you go and just be able to think and just feel at ease and all that other stuff. Um, but there's the idea that therapy is just for white people, right? And the reason why for this is how can y'all count either one of you? How many black therapists, psychiatrists, psychologists, and other mental health professionals are there?
Wow.
Anybody
Okay.
got a guess? You got a guess there, Jada?
I actually know the answer, so I'm not going to
I
guess.
didn't.
I'm not
Do you
guessing
have a
correctly.
guess? I didn't ask you. Why do you? Come on.
But
This is
very,
what we go
very
through, y'all.
few.
This is what we go through in the meeting. Oh my God. You could have
Don't do
faked
that.
it. You could have
Don't do
faked it.
that.
You could have
I
faked
could have,
it.
but
You-
I don't know how to.
All right,
make it.
Joe. How many? How many, Joe? Top of your head,
Okay.
Joe.
Listen. It's out of wow. So from the American Psychiatric Association.
No, I don't want you to read it
You don't
off
want
top
to
of
read it.
your
You don't
head.
read it? You
What
want
do you
to?
think?
Okay. I'm gonna say 2%.
2%?
Yes.
2%. 2%.
Of psychiatrists and 4% of psychologists, or is it the reverse?
All right. So the data from the American Psychiatric Association, the APA, shows that only 2% of the estimated 41,000 psychiatrists in the U.S. are black, and just 4% of the psychologists are black. So that's the problem there. We are not represented in that community to even offer help. Who
And
there
this is
knows
as
who
and
there
this is
knows about us?
this is as recent as 2 months ago. So you can imagine
Right.
the last 2 years what we've all been going through,
Oh
and this
yeah,
is all we
yeah,
have to
yeah,
show
yeah,
for it.
yeah. People listening, yeah, that was November 17th, 2021, 2 months ago. That is the stats. 2% of the estimated 41,000 psychiatrists, meaning the people that can actually we can go to and get some help, and 4% of the psychologists are black. What do? I don't know how do we get into that in order for us as a society to start having more black psychiatrists and black psychologists, we have to start accepting mental health in our community to say, okay, we need that help, so therefore our kids are going to grow to actually want to give that help, right? No?
Absolutely. It helps it helps us to realize that there's a lack of representation for
Mhm.
us. We don't. I know I'm speaking for myself. If I'm having an issue, I want to be able to talk to someone who looks like me, who can identify with what I'm going through.
Right.
And it's hard when the numbers are so low. So why are we thinking it's for us if there is no therapist that
Right.
look like
It's
us?
sort of like a catch-22, because in our community we don't necessarily believe it to be a viable profession. It's not anything that we pursue because we don't see that representation. But the reason we don't see the representation is because we don't pursue it. And so it becomes difficult to fill the seats with people that look like us, especially also because we are living in a time where people are beginning to sort of shy away from the idea of 4-year degrees. And to become a psychiatrist, you actually need to go beyond that and get a doctorate, right? And we are not pushing this idea of advancement, and we're also not.
So why don't we push? Why don't we as a community, we as a people, we as a program, we as a show, we as individuals who who's active in the community, just push past well, I guess the blinders of the race thing, whereas we need the help. Let's just get the help. I mean, if they
Right.
white, black, I don't care what color they are. The expertise is their expertise, and they'll have the necessary knowledge to help. No, I mean,
Right.
I say black or white, go get help. You understand what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? Like, so wow. that was a great show, man. I mean, like I really don't have much else to say, but except get help, people. Like, I mean, we need help. We need help as a community. We need help as a people. And this one other bullet point. The funny part about this bullet point, I didn't bring it up and into the show, is because I think that it actually deserves its own show. And yes, we're sponsored by Baller. You know, you could go on Baller, www.baller.org. We also Instagram, that's at Unplugged, at Plugged MJ. All right. Remember all them other platforms we were on, the Spotify's, the YouTubes, all these bot chasers and all that other stuff. But I think we have our next topic here, Sean, because Sean be wanting us to have our topics like right away. So I'm gonna give Sean our topic now. Okay? Domestic violence and abusive behaviors. Period.
That's dope. That's gonna be one of those. Yeah, that's gonna be one of those topics.
Okay, so because we actually had a bullet point here that was stating that lends to some of the mental health issues that we go through, and trust you me, it does. I know it do. And I think that it deserves more space than a few minutes of trying to end a show, or even a few minutes within a show. I think it needs to be highlighted in its own show. So domestic violence and other abusive behaviors in our community.
We're gonna go there. We're gonna open up Pandora's box.
Yeah, we got to. We've been keeping Pandora's box closed for a while now, brother.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean? We've been keeping Pandora's box. You know what I mean? All right. So basically, that's it. What I got. I appreciate Jada John for being on this week. That's our producer. She'll be on again. We'll pull. You know, we'll figure out a woman's side of things that we need her to do. You know what I mean, Joe? Yeah, right, Joe? Close us out. Jada, got anything to say before you go?
I do not. www.baller.org. Go check us out.
That's it.
Oh, yeah, she's the actual executive director for Baller as well.
I am.
See how it all goes together?
Yeah, it all works together. Joe.
Continue to stay safe, people. What we're going through right now is real. And the only way that you'll be able to get through it is if you get the help and the resources that you deserve and that you need. So continue looking for that, continue supporting that, continue fighting for it, because the only way you'll get it is if you show that you really want it.
And my last thing I'm going to say to my people is the best advice I can give you is if you're doing something for someone, do it from the heart. Do it for no other reason. Do it for nothing else besides from the heart. Because if you do something with the idea of getting something back, you're doing it for all the wrong reasons. All right? Everything that you do in life should be just from here, especially when you're doing it towards others and in humanity. You know what I mean? So with that being said, Plugged, Molly and Joe, the Mental Warriors. Hope we touched a few minds out there today, or in past weeks, or coming weeks, or what have you. But we out of here today. Peace.